Hello and welcome. We are at the Paris Motor Show 2024 and I am with Giles Taylor. Giles, hello.
Hello. Pleased to meet you.
You are Vice President of Global Design for Honqgi, is that correct?
Yeah, for FAW, which is a bigger sort of holding group, let's say. So there's three brands underneath FAW. One of them is Honqgi.
Okay, so you're just arriving on the French markets. Can you introduce the brand in a few words?
Well, we're the oldest Chinese brand, automotive brand, so we go back to 1958, so we're 66 years old.
All right.
That maybe explains why I left Rolls-Royce Motors in 2018 to join Honqi, because I felt that the heritage that they have, stretching right the way back to the time of Chairman Mao, who set the company up with his own script, gave me a chance to actually sort of deliver some of my expertise to a luxury brand, the only luxury brand, true luxury brand, in China, and obviously in coming to the French market and into Europe as we are today with the launch of these two EVs, we're bringing a little bit of that heritage value into these products and into your market.
So what are your highlights on the show? What are you presenting?
We're presenting the two EVs, so one SUV and one small sedan.
Yes.
Only EVs, they're not hybrid and other guises, they're only EV products. They're the first true EV products into the French market. We've brought the large SUV into the European market called EHS9. It's come to the Nordic countries, but in France in particular we'll bring these smaller, more compact EVs into your market, and we're pretty optimistic that they'll do well.
So how are you organising your distribution? Are you going through a network of dealerships?
Yeah, we're currently building it up. Yeah, right now we have one key distributor with a range of dealer networks that we're accessing, and it's a journey to actually come into France in a very big way. So not just test the water. We know that in the future, as with Germany as well, we have potentially a very strong market. So we're in the process, as of today, of announcing pricing and then working to expand our network. So it's kind of like kick-off for that moment here today.
Okay, so Europe has put some pretty high trade barriers. How is that going to affect you?
Well, I mean, one thing I would say quite openly to you here today is that it's no surprise. I mean, 3 years ago, I think most of the execs in our company were planning for that. We knew that the tariff, tit for tat.
So it's not a surprise?
No, we've planned for it, and the pricing plans for it as well. So it's kind of like, okay, it's happened in 2024. Back in 2022, when these cars were actually designed and ready to go by 2023, we had all of this planned, and I think that's one good thing I would say about Honqi in particular. We have a 10-year plan, so we're not here just to see how it goes. We have a 10-year plan, and that accounts for the low points, which I would say is right now in the European market. It's not exactly a high point for EVs, so we're ready for this entry. It could be a slow journey in the first 2 years, but let's say as we go towards 5 years, we can get back on track. But there's never a great time to start, let's say. So we're not exactly coming in at the best time, but in the auto salon here today in Paris, nobody else is either. It's a kind of Europe-wide issue.
So tell me about your aftermarket strategy. How are you going to set up customer support?
That'll come through our dealer networks as well. I mean, obviously a new brand, Honqi, we have to immediately create a loyal customer base based on service and servicing. The ecosystem behind any new brand is vital. We have to make the right step right first time. I've been obviously from Rolls-Royce, coming through Jaguar, and I first started with Citroën. Citroën in 1992 when I joined was in a sort of period of great change, coming from a loyal customer base that liked the brand but would never purchase, and going through to Jaguar, probably quite similar point in time when they're changing from heritage to a more future-based brand. And I'd even say to Rolls-Royce, where we have this fantastic loyal customer base, but there's no reason why they should stay with us. We have to keep on, looking after them. So I'd say to you as a Vice President of Design, when it comes to caring as a new brand, nobody knows Honqi. You might know us today from this presentation, but nobody knows us. We've got to get that sort of care point and that extremely expert and professional care network in place right away. And that's probably one of our steepest challenges. So the choice of our dealer network, the choice of their service infrastructure is vital. But I can tell you now, we have a base coming in Europe, a marketing base which is actually being established as we speak, and they've got all the right contacts, not just for France but Europe-wide. So again, we're not just coming in tactically into certain countries. We've already come down through Scandinavia, through the Benelux countries. We are in Germany. France is our next market, and here we are.
I have one last question for you. We've seen the market for electric vehicles slowing down in Europe over the past months. Is that a concern to you?
I think we've watched it slow down, since the beginning of the year. There are warning signs that this sort of predicted uptake with all the sort of, special incentives given by European governments to get people to sort of try and make a healthy switch from your diesel or your petrol combustion. Never really kicked in. I think, hybrid has been the fallback.
Yeah.
We will introduce hybrid. We're not just putting all our hopes on EV. So right now, I think you heard it today, in the next 3 years we'll introduce 10 new products. They will not all be EV. Like every other manufacturer, we have to sort of balance that with a sensible, healthy, let's say, volume of combustion or hybrid. But we have the backup plan for that, and like I just said, it's predictable. I think it'll be around for the next 2 years. That's my personal view. I don't think it'll suddenly cure itself next year. It's going to be a slow uptake again. All I'd say to you is that the tariff war doesn't help matters.
Yeah.
Again, we did predict it, but it doesn't help anybody in the long run. And certainly whether it's Citroën or Peugeot or Mercedes-Benz or BMW or Audi selling back in China, I personally think that it's soured the goodwill between our two continents in a way that was, a sorry point.
Giles, thank you for taking the time to speak. Best of luck on the French market.
Thanks very much.
Everyone, thank you for watching, and I'll see you soon.